P.G. Wodehouse is a British writer who wrote a long series of humorous stories which had characters drawn out from several layers of the British society. For instance, aristocratic young girls who haven't done a day's work, rich industrialists, constables, and butlers walking in and out of pages. Furthermore, throughout his stories, he often made fun of the British aristocracy, who lived off their inheritances, never having to work in their lives, whereas common people slaved to keep their heads above water. This could link into the prejudice and stereotypical viewpoints of the British aristocracy towards the lower class people within the society, in terms of the way they speak and behave, such as the Scottish accent of Angus McAllister as a gardener. In addition, the interesting thing about him is that characters of P.G. Wodehouse appear repetitively in his stories. Most of Wodehouse's stories are set in Blandings Castle, which was the official residence of the Earl, Lord Emsworth. This was a short distance away from Market Blandings, a market town. Life in Blandings Castle centered on the activities of Lord Emsworth, who was known for his eccentric behavior. His only interests were his pig, Empress of Blandings, and the garden. His children drove him to distraction by getting into all kinds of problems. Lord Emsworth is the sixth Earl of Emsworth, and all he does is look after his eccentricities. Here it is Blandings Hope, a pumpkin with which he aims to win the first prize at the Shrewsbury Flower and Vegetable Show. Freddie is his younger son. Younger sons didn't get much by way of inheritance, as the major part went to the eldest son. However, Emsworth's disappointment with his younger son had more to do with his ways. For instance, he spots his son kissing Aggie in the water meadows and is shocked when he hears that she's Freddie's fiancée. Emsworth doesn't want his son to marry the head gardener's cousin, Aggie. Given the option of choosing between the border and the job of a gardener, McAllister chooses the border and quits his job. This puts his plans of winning the prize at a vegetable show in jeopardy. To get a new gardener, he goes to London where he meets his son, who informs him that he's already married to the gardener's cousin. Shaken, Emsworth wanders off to a garden and removes some flowers, and is accosted by a constable who refuses to believe he's an earl. McAllister arrives there and identifies him. Emsworth meets Aggie's father, who plans to send Freddie abroad to look after his business. McAllister then rejoins work and Emsworth wins the prize.
Emsworth. He is the eccentric but harmless era of Emsworth, who is absent-minded about everything but his prize pig, the Empress of Blandings. In this story, Lord Emsworth had all the prejudice that marked people of his class when it came to marriages. This is evident through the quote, "That girl, you must send her away," which states that Emsworth is against the marriage of Aggie and his son, Freddie, simply due to her position in society as the daughter of a head gardener. This justifies his prejudiced views towards the common people, as he dislikes the thought of having Freddie marrying a non-aristocrat girl, especially if she was American. Furthermore, Emsworth is so concerned about the well-being of the pumpkin that he calls back McAllister, who refuses. Emsworth is not proud aristocrat who will not bow before a gardener when his presence is required. Angus McAllister. McAllister is Lord Emsworth's head gardener. McAllister is no respecter of rank and position. Being a Scot, he's fond of his money, and when he's told to get rid of his boarder, Aggie Donaldson, his shackles are raised. This is caused by Emsworth, as he comments on the concept wealth and social status through the quote, "Listen, McAllister, listen to me. Either you send that girl away today, or you can go yourself. I mean it," which shows that Emsworth is using the power as an aristocrat to demand McAllister, a commoner, to send his Aggie away from Freddie. This could further explain the arrogant and dismissive attitude of Lord Emsworth, possibly representing the rest of the aristocrats. When told to choose between the border and his job as head gardener, he chooses the former. McAllister is more stubborn than his master and refuses to return to Blandings even when his master pleads.
One of his favorite dreams was of some nice, eligible girl belonging to a good family and possessing a bit of money of her own, coming along someday and taking Freddie off his hands. This quote portrays the stereotypical viewpoints of the British aristocracy towards the common people when it came down to the matter of marriage. For instance, Lord Emsworth despises Aggie as soon as he finds out that she was working under Angus McAllister, which justifies this quote due to the fact that he is judging her based on the importance of wealth and family heritage instead of Aggie as a person, especially when it's not even his own marriage, but his son's. Furthermore, this explains that the aristocrats wanted marriages which benefited them both economically and socially, in terms of how respected the family is and how high up it is in terms of wealth in the society. In Conference. Irony and comedy created by P.G. Wodehouse can underpin the occupations of Lord Emsworth. For instance, he may be described as being in conference, which is a serious occupation and one that is of great significance. However, the subject of the conference is revealed as something so greatly portrayed as that of sweet peas, which creates a sudden contrast to the seriousness hinted in the quote, therefore creating irony. This creation of irony emphasizes on the comedic element of the story, which P.G. Wodehouse is focused on, as this quote displays Emsworth as a character who frets over insignificant objects and does not take into consideration, apart from it, further amplifying the image of an anxious and unwise aristocrat.
10 million! 10 million! Did you say you had $10 million? This quote again suggests the naivety of Lord Emsworth in terms of focusing on the wealth of the family in which Freddie's fiancée is from, as his attitude completely changes the moment he realizes that Aggie is actually a member of high-class society and is very wealthy in comparison to Emsworth's initial viewpoint of her. This explains that Lord Emsworth is a very fickle man, as his mindset is easily influenced by Mr. Donaldson, causing the Lord to accept and welcome Aggie as his son's fiancée, in contrast to his "send that girl away today" attitude when he hadn't fully known the family conditions of the Donaldsons. Furthermore, this could suggest his thirst and greed for money and his egoistic behaviors towards those who are poorer than him. This is evident as Mr. Donaldson, who is more wealthier than Emsworth, does not show off his wealth and acts in a very humble and respectful manner, whereas Lord Emsworth constantly wants to display his power and wealth to the common people, which portrays his unsuitability of a lord.